started, I'd like to introduce Ernesto Bravo, President of the West Division at TECMA and Chair of the Chamber's International Business Affairs Forums. In his role, Ernesto runs the fast-growing Baja California operations of TECMA, a shelter services company that was founded in 1986. He has more than 16 years of experience with multinational operations in consumer electronics and over 11 years in cross-border manufacturing. And he was born in San Diego and raised in Tijuana. Ernesto, I'll turn it over to you now.
Thank you, Jimena. Good morning, everyone, and good morning to all of our panelists and Kenya as well. So Ernesto Bravo again, very good to meet everyone. And thanks looks like we have roughly 25 participants so far, and I'm sure more will join here as we get going. But thanks everyone in our audience for joining today. I want to give special thanks to our guest speakers who are here today to share their insights on regional strategies to create a more diverse and resilient creative and cultural sector of our binational economy. As the largest nonprofit advocate for the San Diego business community, the Chamber's mission is to make this region the best place to live and to work in. In the San Diego-Tijuana region, geography and proximity have created complementary characteristics and shared assets in the economy. And the region's creative economy has laid a foundation for one-of-a-kind services opportunities, products, and strengths, resulting in further stimulation for innovation in today's global marketplace. Before the pandemic, the Cali-Baja creative economy had a total annual economic impact in San Diego of $11.1 billion. Investments in cultural infrastructures, such as funding arts and cultural programs, have historically been prioritized to enhance tourism in the region. As a result, San Diego-Tijuana's design-driven, innovative culture and economy has been granted the bid as the first binational world design capital in WDO history. Not only will our region be recognized for the close relationships between our two cities, but also for its ability to mobilize human-centered design to address major global problems like climate change and social inequity through engineering, science, art, architecture, and more. I'm excited to hear about the significant efforts to mobilize our binational creative and cultural industries to drive the economy forward. Before we get rolling, a couple of housekeeping instructions. I want to ask all attendees to please type your questions in the chat or Q&A box. We'll get to the Q&A after we hear from our guest speakers. So, as for our guest speakers, we are honored to have an amazing panel of experts joining us. Jose Galicot is the founding president of the nonprofit Tijuana Innovadora. Jose is especially known for his successes as an entrepreneur and businessman. Early on, he was involved in the textile industry and then moved on to develop shopping malls, a telecommunications business, industrial and commercial real estate developments, and new technology-focused businesses. He's been a member of various councils and foundations and business organizations, as well as in the banking industry, El Trompo, Interactive Museum, the International Community Foundation, among many others. Seeking to spread the news about all that is good about Tijuana, in 2010, Jose created the Tijuana Innovadora, an international event that served as the engine to change the negative image of the city throughout the world. And in 2015, it became a platform for social innovation that implements programs in 4 axes of influence: art and culture, innovation and leadership, prevention of violence, and sustainability. Thank you, Jose, for joining. We also have Christina Bibler, who serves as the City of San Diego's Economic Development Director. Over the past 22 years, Christina has led change, creating programs that bring economic prosperity in San Diego and previously in Colorado and Carlsbad. In her role, she prioritizes investment into communities of concern and oversees the San Diego Promise Zone. In response to the global pandemic, she deployed tens of millions of local and federal funds to local small businesses to restore and sustain the local workforce. Thank you, Cristina. And last but certainly not least is Carlos de la Mora, CEO of the San Diego-Tijuana World Design Capital. Architect by training and connector by nature, Carlos has worked in architecture, design, and planning since 1993. In 2009, Carlos joined AECOM, an American multinational infrastructure consulting firm, as the Mexico director. He has also served as vice president of Mexico's National Chamber of Consulting Firms. And in 2018, Carlos was invited to lead the land development practice for CBRE in Mexico. In his role as CEO, Carlos overlays his architecture and urban design planning experience with a strong vision to reach the operational side of the new organization. Thank you, Carlos, and welcome everyone. So we will get started. I'm going to start off with questions for our panelists, and that way we will lead the discussion. And the first question is for Jose Galicot. So to get us started, can you give us a brief explanation of what activities are considered a component of the creative industries and how they advance job creation through intellectual property?
Well, the first thing that we need is talent. We need somebody who has an idea, who developed this idea and with creativity. And if they have an idea, they have to get copywriting. Copywriting is very important. There are many ideas that have been stalled because people doesn't protect them. And when we can measure three big changes in the world: waste came, and a way to find directions and how to go through the city driving, and has made easier, very easier. I happened to have Mr. Levine in an event in Tijuana, and he explained how he made these ways and how he tried to make easy the life of the people. Also, Uber is an excellent example. There were taxis, there were many ways to move, but suddenly they find an easy and happy way that becomes a fantastic business. And we can, in Mexico now, we have the impact of Airbnb. It's another idea. There was the hotels, there was people traveling, and they find a way to make a big business in the middle of something that was already done. So for me, those are the concepts for a creative industry: creative talent, ideas, and don't forget copyright.
Thank you, Jose. Great point. Obviously, you have to protect your investments, right? So that's a key aspect of it for sure. Second question is for Cristina. And looking at a San Diego perspective, can you give us an overview of San Diego's local creative and cultural industries and its economic impact in our region?
Absolutely, Ernesto, and thank you for the question. So you already alluded to the total economic impact exceeding 11 billion, and those are numbers prior to COVID. In my role, it's always important to look at burgeoning industries, and prior to us doing that study, there wasn't any information about the impact that the creative economy was having in this cohesion of like high-tech industries, performing arts, creative industries, graphics, catering, all of those. So I partnered with the Commission for Arts and Culture on this joint task of trying to understand where all of the industries supported were. And that translated to a total of 107,000 impacted jobs. Now we know that there's some contraction, again, post-COVID. I'm hoping that the new numbers will actually show that more people entered into the creative economy, given the friction that was associated with large corporations and the overall impact of the workforce. And so that's launching soon. I'm working again with Jonathan Gless, who is our executive director of the Commission for Arts and Culture. But just relating back to what we know that there were more than 7,000 total creative firms. So whether they're working in, event space, or whether they're working in performing arts, or, video, audio production, being, the full gamut, that's a pretty significant impact. And then it also represented roughly almost 5% of the regional economy. So knowing that there's this coalescing of all of the creative industries, I feel as though the creative economy is supporting the rest of the major key base sectors within the region. And I've got some additional stats. Hopefully I can fill them in other conversations, but just noting that more than 100,000 people are workers dedicated to this, and we expect that to increase just based on the friction associated with post-pandemic changes.
It's a great overview. Thank you, Christina. Jose, one more question for you before we also move with and have a question with Carlos. But with regard to cultural and creative industries in our economy, what are the values and the training that differentiates that sector, what some call the orange sector of our economy, versus other sectors of the economy? You've been involved in the development and manufacturing and many other areas of business in the region. So can you give us your perspective on that, the values and training that differentiates the orange economy to others?
We are working very hard in Tijuana Innovadora to help people to understand these new areas that make business. But I will give you some figures that I have here. In Mexico, the 17% of the economy is maquiladora, and we have in oil is 12% of the country, but tourism is 16%. But tourism with industries, creative industries, are 16%. It's very close of the maquiladora. So we have with tourist and industry, creative industry, we are making a new world, new ideas, new happenings for people to be in different stages, and they will find a way to make life easy and beautiful. And that's why industries creatives do. We have an area in Tijuana Innovadora of art and culture. We have a young symphony, and it plays every month, and it's fantastic. We are negotiating with Frankfurt. By March, we are going to have a concert with the orchestra, young orchestra from Frankfurt, San Diego, and Tijuana together in a fantastic play that we are creating with Tijuana Innovadora. We have about 800 pictures, paintings of great painters that we take to the factories. We bring them to the factories. We bring them to the jails. We bring instead of the museum you coming to the museum comes to you and makes people who works in the industry find a good way. And finally, we are working very hard in creative economy. We are doing a study, and we make a mapping of all the industry in Tijuana, of the people who works in creative industry. And we have that already done. And we now are making a book, how to make business from creative industry. And it's a very good work that we are finishing. And we hope that it's going to change the way the creative industry are making business in Tijuana.
That's a great overview, Jose. Thank you. It's amazing, just even in the brief few minutes that we've started already, how many interactions, how many relationships there are between industries, and how really all these industries enhance our region, right? You talk about culture, and you talk about the symphony and art and galleries. Those things may not have, I come from a manufacturing background, they may not be manufacturing, but they certainly enhance the quality of life and provide opportunities for people to enjoy. And obviously that attracts tourism. Tijuana nowadays, I don't have data, but it seems like every time we have visitors, they have a hard time finding hotels in Tijuana. So it's definitely becoming a tourism a draw for especially for Mexicans, as well as obviously internationally. So thank you, Jose.
In the area of entrepreneur and innovation, we have fashion design. We have an area very important. We have created created a big industry. 84 designers now we have that goes all over the world. Every year we make a fashion show with the excellent results. And we have created something that didn't exist in Tijuana. And we have become the capital of the fashion in the northwest of Mexico. Also, we have a design lab where we work in a design lab. We're working very hard in order to redesign the city. If you are going to make Tijuana and San Diego the capital of design, the first thing that you have to do is to redesign your city, to renovate your city. So this is what we are going to make a big map with an analysis of the future of the city for 2050, and we are going to make a big markup that people can see their city in the future and what are the problems and what are the solutions for the things that are for the future. Also, we have a Fab Lab where we train young people we teach them how to, and this was a gift from Carlos Slim, one of the wealthiest men in Mexico. He gave me this lab. We train young people that we teach them how to use machines. And from there, they create business. And we have created 60 business they are working and they are doing very well economically with this Fab Lab.
Great. Jose, thank you. Great examples. Carlos, welcome, and thank you again. So can you tell us, transitioning, Jose just mentioned the World Design Capital and some of the preparations Tijuana is making for that with the design of the city for 2050. Can you tell us about our regions, about the designation and how we will showcase San Diego-Tijuana in a new light and emphasize the ways that the cultural and creative sectors can connect us?
Of course, thank you, Ernesto, and thank you to Kenya and everyone at the San Diego Regional Chamber of Commerce for the invitation. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here alongside Cristina and alongside Don Jose Galicot, the work that Tijuana Innovadora has done since 2010. I went to the first and second editions of Tijuana Innovadora, and the work that they have been doing since then is very important. So it's a privilege to be here. And also the city of San Diego is one of 5 partners of World Design Capital. So I'm very happy to be working with them, Mayor Todd Gloria and his team, Mayor Caballero, of course, in Tijuana. And the other partners, just to mention them, is UCSD through the Design Lab at UCSD, the Burnham Center for Community Advancement, and the Design Forward Alliance. So to answer your question, how do we showcase our region in a new light? It's up to us. What WDC provides is a platform, is a framework. We have this platform and a very powerful microphone and a very powerful spotlight to showcase our region in whatever we decide to showcase. We could take this opportunity as something very superficial and just the organization of a few events, but it goes much beyond that. I think the opportunity here is to have a meaningful regional transformation and to design a better future for the San Diego-Tijuana region. And I refer to the region in the extent of all of San Diego County, and not only Tijuana, but all the way south to Ensenada and all the way east into Tecate, because this is, how this region works and how we interact. I have been present in this region I've lived in Ensenada, worked in Tijuana, lived in San Diego, and even in Los Angeles for many years of my life since 1997. So I feel at home in this region. And the way we do that, going back to World Design Capital, is by partnering with the voices that have been thinking and working on these issues for decades. Educational institutions, arts and culture, every voice is important and everyone is invited to this celebration. So So again, we do it together, and it's up to us to define how seriously we take this opportunity, and how meaningful it becomes, and how deep we want to go in the issues that are important for us.
Thank you, Carlos, and congratulations on being able to earn this designation. It's great for both.
Let me just say that congratulations isn't for me. There was so many people involved in the designation. I wasn't part of it. The city of San Diego certainly was. Tijuana Innovadora was. There's an amazing group of people on both sides of the border that made the impossible possible. This designation is very coveted around the world. This is only the 9th edition. And the fact that they gave it to San Diego and Tijuana together, because San Diego by itself and Tijuana by itself, I'm pretty sure would not have been awarded the designation. So the recognition goes to that group of people that worked very hard for many years in order to get the designation last year.
Great to recognize that effort. Thank you, Carlos. Christina, on the topic of the orange economy, what challenges do we face and opportunities that you see that we can leverage to increase the competitiveness as a region?
Absolutely. We are perfectly positioned to, as our employment numbers continue to grow and as our workforce is rebounding, to designate, actually through the World Design Capital promotions and conversation, as thinking of San Diego-Tijuana as the place to be if you are, an artist or a performer, or you provide graphic design services, because of the quality of life here. It really is all about talent, as Jose had already alluded to, and that is a frictionless relationship, providing more opportunities for, that cross-border cohesion, whereby companies on this side or performers on that side, there's not going to be a difference, right? So that's an opportunity. What I see as a challenge always comes down to our workforce is plagued with the high cost of housing, with the challenges associated with the cost of living, and especially those that are independent contractors trying to make a living here. It is a significant deterrent, and we need to continue working on those challenges cohesively. Every industry needs to be working on housing. Every government organization needs to be working on housing. Nonprofits, this is a combined effort whereby there's only so much each of us can do, but at the end of the day, collectively, we can make an impact. Therefore, our independent contractors and our entire creative community has a place to be in this binational mega region, and that is inviting, and then it will lead to the additional attraction as we see. I think the other, opportunity I wanted to share is that those of us that are here, we know what a gem and a fantastic conversation we have going on related to the cross-border relationship. We collectively have not done a great job sharing that. So this platform that we have to be able to say, we are a global region. We are, international. We are diverse. We are culturally rich. It is now. And the opportunity to present that and all of these legacy projects that are happening on both sides of the border, there could not be a more perfect time for this conversation and this momentum.
Thank you, Christina. I love that the richness of our binational region. That's great term. Thank you. You talk about housing. It's very interesting. One of the things we talk a lot about at the chamber is how many people that work in San Diego live in Tijuana, and that number is increasing every day. I think there's tens of thousands nowadays that have been identified as people that cross daily to work. So yeah, definitely a challenge to work on.
Maybe I can just add to that, removing barriers that make that more of a possibility needs to also be something that we see as an opportunity, right? That the talent is able to flow and is frictionless. I think that will benefit both sides, so that, again, we're not wasting people's time and money in lines, and that they're able to interact as if it were just a cohesion without the limitations. So continuing to work on that, but I do see that continues to grow. And then that also benefits businesses. The more that they can get talent to and from and back and forth is a really, it's a long-standing relationship, but there's always room for improvement.
Yeah, thank you, Christina. Jose, moving to transitioning to Tijuana and Nuevo for a second here, and I want just to give a little bit of context and my personal perspective, but I grew up in Tijuana, as Jimena mentioned at the introduction. I lived there in the 70s and 80s, and then moved to San Diego in the late 80s, and did grammar school in Tijuana and so on. But one of my really amazing experiences that I've had in this region was with Tijuana and Nuevo. And a few years ago, and being able to experience Steve Wozniak as a speaker, amazing experience. And I think every time that Tijuana and Nuevo comes on, it's always an incredible draw for talent and luminaries from around the world. So thank you for that, Jose. So of course, Steve Wozniak, for anybody who doesn't know, is one of the co-founders of Apple. So the question, Jose, how is Tijuana Nuevo promoting greater participation of business leaders in the cultural and creative industries?
We are working now with a group of intellectuals from Uruguay and Barcelona that they already designed their cities. They already had made the work that we are intended. So we invite here the architect Osuna Jaime, who was ex-mayor of Tijuana and senator, and he's going to direct the area of questioning the people, what's the kind of city that you want? How do you want to live? What are the problems of the city? What are the opportunities that it has? By the way, San Diego area, the San Diego County has 18 cities. The second city in American citizens is Tijuana. We have more than almost every other small city in San Diego. So it's every day more Americans are coming to live here. So we have to design a city that understands that we are binational, bicultural, and that we live in and Carlos said it very well, in a mega region that is growing and is getting stronger every day. So I want to tell you about the prevention, and that's a very important area for Tijuana and Nuevo, and the business people are getting involved in this prevention. We have when a young boy comes out of jail because he was delinquent, and they are top delinquents, we teach them how to cook. We put it and we open hop trucks that the young people goes there and works and learn and make money, and we have a very interesting, successful results. From 100 people that has been out of jail, young people, only one has come back to delinquency. So we have one of the world records on that. Also, today we have teachers from Austria and from England that are in the areas of the city, that the populated areas, teaching dance today. In this moment, we have eight teachers that came from, because they are related to us. Also, we have a house in the most difficult part of the city, when it's a delinquent area, that the children at 12, young people at 12 years, they go to the business of the family, bad business. We have, in that area, we have 90 boys now in university and high school. So we have a very good results, and business people give us money, help us to do the business, and help us to work with the young people. And what we have, whatever we say we do, we do. That's our motto. Whatever we say we do, and we do it well. So far, we have very good results. Every day we have better results. And for 2024, 2023 and 2024, we expect to do something amazing. We are going to take out the business that the factories made. Like if you play golf, you know that Callaway and the people who make Callaway are in Tijuana. Tijuana makes Callaway. We make a lot of television. We do many things that we have to show the world what we do, what we have, and the interesting thing that we live together, Tijuana and San Diego, and we understand now that we're a mega region. We feel stronger together, and that's very important. And that's what we have to do.
Thank you, Jose. Great examples. Thank you. We're halfway through, so I hope everyone is greatly enjoying this amazing conversation. Carlos, we know you're coming back from recently visiting Valencia in Spain, and which was the World Design Capital for this year. And our region officially received the baton for Tijuana and San Diego to shine as the next design capital for 2024. Can you tell us more about this experience?
Yes, of course. We were actually in Valencia twice. Both were fantastic experiences. You know, the fact that you get to witness a current world design capital and learn from that and listen to the actors is very important. Some of the key lessons from these experiences there were, the first is collaboration. Collaboration is key. This is a very horizontal effort, and again, the voices of everyone involved in this region are very important. The second, which was good to see there, was one of the events that the World Design Organization requires us to deliver as the World Design Capital is the Network of Cities meeting. And present in that meeting are cities that have been World Design Capitals in the past. So there were people from Torino, Italy there. They were World Design Capital in 2018, and people from Helsinki as well, World Design Capital in 2012. And both of these cities gave very interesting examples of all the legacy projects that were implemented after the year they hosted World Design Capital. So, you know, the learning there was, and what we saw very clearly is that World Design Capital and 2024 for us is just the beginning. This is really planting the seeds for long-term impact through the legacy program that Christina was referring to. So that's huge, because we're not understanding it as a one-year-long program with a beginning and an end, and again, a bunch of events and parties, which we will have. But it's really focusing on the legacy project and what remains after 2024. Another key lesson and another learning was there's a lot of flexibility in the delivery of the events. So we define the program, basically. World Design Organization provides this framework and recommendations and ideas, but it's up to us to define what that is. Some cities, in my opinion, have missed the opportunity of what World Design Capital can bring. Some haven't. Valencia, I don't think, missed it. I think they did a really good job. But we are a unique corner of the world. We live in a unique place, and I don't need to explain that to those of us that live and work here. But the rest of the world doesn't know this. So the fact that we're talking about Valencia here, I mean, we wouldn't be talking about Valencia in our circles, and now we are. And you know, some of us went there, and now it's part of the conversation. And there's a lot to learn, and we want to establish bridges with Valencia and all the other World Design Capital cities, because there's a lot to learn in what they've done, again, especially with the legacy program. Another key lesson that Valencia has done very well is communications. There's almost two events. One that happens geographically or physically here in the region, in all the venues that we have, and we have, you know, the entire region as a stage for this program. But communication and that other event that happens through social media, on our phones, what we read and what messages we convey to the world, that's also very important. So we're working hard on setting a communications plan and a communications team that can help us do that. We have great partners for that already. And in communication as well, words are very important. And the words we use to describe what we do and what we're attempting to do in this idea of designing a better future is very important. And let me give you an example. We are staying away from the word binational because in the context of every voice being important, there are other voices, the Kumeyaay Nation, for example, that is part of the history of this region, and they are a very important voice. And there's actually very interesting facts and relationships if we study the historical timeline of our region and how we got here, which helps us understand the size of the opportunity before us in designing the better future. So instead of calling it binational, trinational, or multinational, we're just calling it regional. We are a regional, we are one community that, yes, has this political border, which is, if you look the definition of border, it's a man-made line of separation. So what we're looking for here is to build bridges, as Cristina and Don Pepe have also mentioned, and bringing us together and see what we have in common and not what makes us different. And if we really take this opportunity, and Cristina was referring as well to that, all these lessons learned from the pandemic, and if there's a time in our life as human beings where we can really rethink and reimagine how our future can look like and create a new identity for our region, it's now. We've been talking about it for long enough. Now it's a call for action. We need to take action now so that we're talking about 2024, 14 years down the line, we can really talk about this being a moment that changed this region, as there have been others in the past. But this is, again, I think an opportunity with everyone working together that we can really take advantage of.
Good insights. Thank you, Carlos. Cristina, talking about promotion and communications, what are some of the potential promotion strategies that our regional authorities could focus on to highlight the binational regional, Carlos, creative economy, like the blossoming craft beer industry as one example?
Yeah, our craft beer industry now has a definite name of its own, and we are a destination location for that. So just the ability to play upon and educate others about the richness of the binational megaregion, by using that terminology of binational, by using it in really strategic ways to promote both emerging industries as well as established industries. The main reason why people come to San Diego it historically has been because they attended a conference, they experienced it, and it was related to business travel. Well, we all know that business travel has actually declined and is trying to, get its momentum back up. So now people are primarily tourists. So where are we taking the opportunity in the tourism realm to really promote this? You can see San Diego and Tijuana, you can see Tijuana and San Diego, and showcase that frictionless, I keep saying this, I feel like I've said it 4 times already, momentum between, cross-border and, the additional access from the airports. And so I know that there is definitely momentum in tourism, which then leads into industry, but we can always do a better job with that. Secondarily, I think that, we have an opportunity to partner with our universities who really have an international platform here to showcase the opportunity, especially as talent's coming here and they're unfamiliar with San Diego, but they're committed for the next few years across border, both in the Universidad as well as in our universities and even in the community colleges. So I think those are opportunities that are untapped promotional successes right now. And then really pushing through those careers in the creative economy. You don't necessarily, let's say you're a designer, you don't necessarily then have to go work for an architecture firm or a graphic designer. You could actually be embedded in our life sciences. You could be embedded in, a variety of opportunities. And same thing with, performing arts. That could be, you have many different opportunities. I would be remiss if I didn't share, if Jonathan's listening, he would be so proud, but we are in the midst of doing our cultural affairs, our cultural assets analysis, understanding where our strengths are and where our opportunities are, And it's not a plan that's just going to sit on a shelf. It's positioning us for this significant arts district play, whereby we're reinvesting in the assets that we have, the theaters, the performing arts opportunities, and then seeking where we can grow. I think that's really going to be a pivotal point and an opportunity again to promote that cross section of industries. And then there's always this, I think all of our agencies, both government and private sector, can highlight the talent that we have. And it's very odd that people think government has the opportunity for the creative economy, but we absolutely do. We've got messaging, we've got programming, we've got, things that really highlight that as well. So the last thing I'll say is the update that's happening with the creative economy study. We'll dig into the demographics. One of the things that we fell short on, I think, with maybe even the tenor of the questions, didn't get to the demographics within the industries. It was more collective and at a much higher level as to job classification. Now we need to understand where we can do better, where we can recruit, where we can, really align some of the educational opportunities as well. So those are just some of the thoughts and opportunities we have. And there's always more. So I guess I would end with, if you have one, we're always looking for ways to connect and draw the line between the dots.
Thank you, Christina. That's fascinating. Great information. I was recently involved in an event at Southwestern College. You mentioned education in universities and community colleges, but and I was really surprised to learn that there's a brand new audiovisual production facility down there that's just beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so just to that point, Ernesto, if everyone isn't familiar, I mean, the filming that's going to happen down in Chula Vista associated with San Diego State University, that announcement's really big. The Shell, an incredible asset that, people weren't sure about, but boy, if you've been there, it's incredible. And then, we were just at kind of the initiating event in Liberty Station for Signet Theater that's going to be there in the old base exchange that was at the Naval Training Center. And so if we can use the cultural assets plan, highlight both this side of the border, that side of the border, and show that cohesion, that's a true opportunity that I think right now is again that good time. So thank you for reminding me. I wanted to make sure I said those too, as they're adding to our portfolio of assets.
Great. Thank you, Christina. Right. Jose, one of the challenges that these industries face is that there's no national standard for defining a creative economy, right? Can you tell us more about, or international for that matter, can you tell us more about this and additional challenges this industry faces, including the pandemic's negative impact on the local creative economy?
Well, there is a big opportunity for Tijuana and San Diego because the Americans are cutting the relationship with China in industry. They don't want to buy from China. They want to bring these industries to this region, and they are bringing it. So what we need is more electricity. We need the energy. We need roads. We need to design ways to live in this new situation, because we are now 2 million people in Tijuana, 3 million people in San Diego, and people are coming to our area to work. We are in an explosion of business in Tijuana. The medical area has grown very fast. In this moment, they are making 10 new hospitals. 10 new, it's incredible. It's amazing. We're making the people from United States less fat. We're making them flaquitos. Okay, there was an intellectual that came from Israel and came to Tijuana. He was my friend, and he's my friend. And he told me he went to the colonies, he went to the city, he saw the city, and he told me people are happy in the city. In the friction of the border, in the friction between the first world and third world, in the friction between the Spanish and English, in the friction of the Catholic and Protestant cultures, in the friction, in many frictions, we can create together a new Florencia, a new, as Florence grew as a cultural and intellectual area. And it's happening. We are doing things together and we are learning from each other and we're working very, I have an example. We are working in the green area together, San Diego-Tijuana, and Tijuana is going to make 120 acres garden, big space of greenery. We are doing it right now in close to the dam that we have in Tijuana. And also Tijuana Innovador is making a new park, and we are making also together a research. We're making areas of public art. We're learning and talking to how to make theater together, how to make what Cristina told us, how to be together and to learn from each other with the knowledge and the feeling of Mexican and American. And I'm very happy. Tijuana Innovadora is committed for that. And this opportunity of San Diego and Tijuana together as a capital of the design, we have a big opportunity, but it's only, as Carlos said and Cristina said, it's only the beginning. The future is very nice, but we have to do it. We have to do it now. We have to design the future now for 2050. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. All right, we're moving into our last two questions. One is going to be for Carlos, and then I have a combined question for Cristina and Jose afterwards, after Carlos. So everyone get ready with your questions. I already see a couple of questions in the Q&A, but we're getting close to the finish. So first of the last two questions, Carlos. How can industry and community leaders contribute to the designation of our cross-border region as a design-driven innovation economy?
Okay, so World Design Capital is a community-driven effort. And like I said before, it's up to us. We define the program and we decide what this looks like. So the way we're looking at this is, in order to design a better future, we need to decide what that vision is and what that identity is. And that legacy program is focused on again, current issues like climate change, social equity, etc. But we have to decide, and this is tied to what Don Jose was just mentioning right now. If this is to become a moment for transformation into becoming this new version of ourselves, this better version of ourselves, we need to make a decision. It's similar to a transformation that someone has at an individual level. As human beings, there comes a time in our life, if we're fortunate, where you begin to identify what habits you can change, and what programming and what actions you can change into better habits that turn you into a new person, into a new, better version of yourself. And that has to do with habits and with health and with becoming that. If we can take that same example to a regional level and to that scale, then we need to work together in identifying those things. And again, voices like Tijuana Innovadora and the government of our cities and our universities, our cultural institutions, etc. Those voices are the ones that will help us define what that looks like. And World Design Capital is the perfect platform and the perfect framework for that to happen. So what we are designing is the framework for all these voices to participate. So there's a place for everyone. Again, in this historical reference of how we got here, where we are now, and where we want to get. And once we set that clear direction together, every event, conference, conversation, messaging in our communication strategy will have to do with that, with getting there. So it's a community-driven effort, and we're here to gather those voices, and everyone is invited to participate.
Thank you, Carlos. And I'm being asked to actually, this last question was really dealing with the city of San Diego and Tijuana Innovadora and that collaboration. I think we've been talking about that collaboration throughout this discussion. So for the sake of time, and because we do have a special message from somebody who's would be a surprise message here at the end as well. So when I reserve a couple of minutes for Flavio at the end also. But so with that, Cristina, Jose, there's we're going to skip that last question, but I do want to open up the Q&A session. We are starting to see quite a few questions, so I anticipate there might be more, and we want to make sure we are able to address some of those. So the first one, this is coming from Ricardo Villa. How can we develop better access to online import-export for businesses in the region?
Well, first, I have to tell you that we have the same salary. San Diego has $15 salary, the minimum salary, and Tijuana has $15. The only thing is Tijuana has a day $15 salary, and San Diego an hour $15 salary. So we have a big advantage in this. We have to take advantage of this situation. We have to make Tijuana more exporter, because whatever you do in Tijuana in one day, and what is 8 days of work in the United States of payment. We have the same, we have an opportunity, incredible opportunity of the difference, the economical difference. The other thing, we have to work harder to make easier to talk to the authorities and to make easier the movement of the people and the movement of cargo.
Thank you. Thank you. It was a great answer. Second question, Carla Caballero from Fragomen, Del Rey, Burns, and Lowy. Number one, it's a two-part question, but Fragomen is a business immigration firm specializing on mobilizing talent and facilitating hiring of talent for employment and visas. Is there a specific project or industry in the creative economy where you see it you see as facing challenges with regard to the hiring of talent or mobilizing their workforce? And the second part of that is, can you speak in detail about technical challenges or hurdles aside from housing and the costs that inhibit the growth of the creative economy? So I think talking about just maybe that international talent and the facility of being able to move cross border.
Yeah, so maybe I'll start, and then Jose and Carlos, please join in with anything I've left off. You know, one of the areas we saw some pretty significant contraction before the pandemic, which has only been exacerbated, has been in production. And I think that that's relevant just based on how people's patterns have changed and how they interact with entertainment and the production industry and that section of creativity. I will tell you that some of that is coming back, but until we have our update related to the demographics of the creative economy, I'm not really going to know how much. We also saw less in the architecture engineering section, and I think a lot of that just has to do with access to the schooling and where folks were at the time. So that's going to be another one that we're very interested in. On the larger scale related to maybe base sectors, all of our base sectors across our region are still burgeoning and not burgeoning, but flourishing, excuse me. And I would say that there is great opportunity if folks think outside of maybe the typical, creative economy role and look into some of the base sectors for those creative economy jobs. That's another fantastic, I think, challenge, but opportunity. On the second part, outside of housing, this is not unique to the creative economy, but the cost of everything. I don't even want to hone in on the cost of food or the cost of, getting, your furniture, getting access to reasonably priced gas, public transportation frequencies, and it's across the board. Everything is astronomical right now. I will tell you that some of the other challenges happen to be in the translation of industry and folks knowing what's here. So again, we haven't done a very good job of saying how supportive we are in certain industries. And so that's a challenge when folks are saying, you're coming from New York, or you're coming from, and I'm just picking performing arts for a moment. If you're coming from New York, or you're coming from, let's say, LA, it's not obviously apparent that Tijuana, San Diego has an opportunity for you. And so that's something that is a technical challenge, because people don't want to come for one job. They want to come for an entire, potential for career and pipeline. So outside of housing and inflation, I would say that just general knowledge that this is a culturally rich area to be embedded is a technical challenge for us. I don't know, Jose or Carlos, if you had anything to add to that.
Well, I think that to the new things that we can use, and we learn from the pandemic, and we learn with this kind of communication, that we can work in house, we can find ways to live, to make through industry, to analysis, to design, we can live in a better life, to avoid the problems of this that we're having with the cost of life, with the new situation that is costing the cost of life is getting very high, and the inflation is a big problem that we have to cope. And for San Diego-Tijuana, we can attack that with our cheaper labor. If we have to take advantage of our disadvantage. Our disadvantage is that we earn $15 a day, and you earn $15 an hour. So but we don't want to pay the people of Tijuana $15 a day. We want to pay three or four times that salary. Still is a good salary. Has the advantage to cope with inflation, to help us to fight the inflation. And it's happening. Many Americans are coming to live to Tijuana, more and more and more. And I'm very happy. They are very welcome, and they find easier way to live, and prices, cheaper prices. If they earn their money in the States and pay in pesos, well, they can make a very good life.
Thank you, Jose. Thank you, Jose, Cristina, and Carlos. We do want to have enough time for Flavio, so I'm going to switch over to Flavio Oliverio. So Flavio is currently professor at CETIS University in Tijuana, and focuses on regional competitiveness studies, strategic management, and economic development. And he's led various research studies in our region's cultural and creative industries, and is a constant promoter of these hubs of economic activity. So before I switch over to you, Flavio, just very quickly, I do want to just find one moment of recognition, final recognition, but thank you, everyone. Thank you, Cristina, Carlos, Jose. This has been a wonderful experience, and I think everyone is learning a lot. And so we really, really do appreciate your time and on behalf of the Chamber. And thank you to Kenya and Jimena also for coordinating this wonderful event. So with that, Flavio, if you'd like to take it away.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for this opportunity and this time that I've gotten. First of all, recognize the Chamber for putting together this panel and focusing on this important topic about creative industries in the binational region.
By the way, yes, we're working with Flavio in an analysis of the culture of Tijuana. Hola.
Hola. Did you hear me before, or maybe I was muted? Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. So I don't know if you heard before what I was saying, but so I really want to congratulate the Chamber for putting together this seminar and focusing on the creative industries and as an opportunity for our region. We've done a fantastic job of integrating supply chains and logistics for multinational manufacturing companies for many, many years. And this has created a lot of opportunity, a lot of economic activity and contribution. Mostly, it's been tied to very large companies, and the small and medium-sized companies in the region participate marginally. So I believe that this sector of the creative industries really represents an opportunity for small and medium-sized companies from both sides of the border to work together. I think in particular, in the digital media sector, film industry, I was very excited about the announcement of the city of Chula Vista being now will be hosting and facilitating the development of the film the film production school of San Diego State University. And this really comes into play in terms of the types of assets and collaborations that we could have across the board. So the World Design Capital opportunity, as Carlos was saying, is not just the opportunity to showcase a region of what we've done, but actually to come together and build those legacy projects that will help us be better integrated and more cohesive as a region. So with that, you just saying that this is a great opportunity to have a new economy that is binational, that integrates more the small and medium-sized companies, and especially I think for the south of San Diego, that of course the North San Diego has the innovation economy that is very successful. South San Diego hasn't been integrating at that level. So I think the creative industries really represents an opportunity. In Tijuana, in the study that Don Jose mentioned, we've done recently, and it has just been published. If you don't have a copy, we'll be happy to share with you. We've identified that there's about 18% of all business units, all businesses, registered businesses in Tijuana are related to the creative industries. About half of them are considered within the culinary or the gastronomy sector. So let's say that 9% are in the more cultural related and creative industries. That's still a very large number. We're talking about about 20 to 25,000 business units, and we're talking about 30,000 employments, mostly concentrated, highly concentrated within 3 to 4 miles of the border crossing in San Isidro. So there's even an urban planning opportunity and for mobility and for creating this network of connectivity of hubs. Even Chula Vista with the Bayfront development. So San Isidro, Chula Vista, and downtown, et cetera, we can have this corridor of hubs that are connected to this great workforce that has concentrated near the border region in Tijuana. So there's a lot of opportunity, a lot of potential, and I hope that we use the World Design Capital as a vehicle for developing these legacy projects that will help us better integrate this orange economy in the region. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Flavio. Thank you for giving us that perspective of this really amazing opportunity that the region truly has to create and improve and add onto the legacy that's already been built. So with that, Flavio, thank you. Thank you again to our panelists, Cristina, Carlos, Don Jose. Great discussion. I have one last message to close, important announcement, but the Chamber will be celebrating the region's outstanding commitment to binational collaboration and honor those from San Diego and Baja who are leading the way at the International Tribute Awards on December 7th at the Guild Hotel. For details, please click on the event's website that Jimena has just posted on the chat. Thank you again. And have a great rest of your day, everyone. Thank you. Goodbye.